Hey guys, CJ from combatfoodmedic.com, where we learn to use food as medicine and bring you the information. So I want to apologize. It's been like since February, I think it was, since the last time I did a video. Went through a lot of stuff, kidney stones and all kinds of stuff. So I'm sorry. I'm just now getting back into it, and it's like 1st of August, as a matter of fact. So. But last time I left y'all, I was trying to create a garden. I want to kind of show you. You can probably see kind of what, from standing here. But I want to kind of show you what's happened with the garden. A lot of it I wasn't able to take care of because of the problems I was going through. I had, besides the kidney stones, I had trees falling. Had to get those out of there, and just a lot of stuff going on. Plus now I got some construction going on, some updating for the around the house, and actually going to try to build a greenhouse also. But just want to kind of give you an idea of, as you can see, what I've got going on. And a lot of stuff just gets overgrown like real quickly. Like here, I had a couple grapevines, but then I added some what they call yard-long beans, and those things like to grow and climb. And let's see if we can find one, kind of show you what it looks like. This is kind of what it looks like. It's actually they usually look a lot better than that, and they'll get about almost 2 feet long at least. And but you want to kind of get them before that, because they're really delicious and they taste even better than regular green beans. But as you can see, it's like, man, it's really growing over. And of course, I'm having a lot of trouble with these guys. So what I do is I'll usually go around, I try to do things naturally without too much chemicals. What I'll do is I'll go around and I'll take a little bucket of water, and I'll go and I'll knock them, because what they do is they like to roll off. They'll roll off. These are, I think, the Japanese beetles. They like to roll off, and then they'll drop, but then they'll try to catch themselves and fly away. So what I do is I kind of have the bucket of water underneath, and I'll kind of tap the leaves. They'll roll off, and then I get them in the bucket before they have a chance to fly off. So I'm actually going to go around this because it's a little too crowded right now. I got a lot of dirt here that I actually got piled up, and it's from the side of the house over here where I've got we basically broke ground for the greenhouse. And then I also kind of took some of the branches off of the tree here because it just looked like it was just overweighted. And I think really it feels, to me, I think it feels better. It feels lighter. So what I did was, back here in the back, you can kind of see that's where I had the garden growing, or had the garden being prepared, the layered lasagna garden. And I just had a lot of problems, still had a lot of problems with weeds. So I think what I'm going to do, and of course these few butternut squash that I planted, man, they just took off and took over everything. But what I decided to do was go ahead and add a couple raised beds that I just kind of built off the cuff, with stuff that I had laying around, just to see if some of the stuff would grow a little bit better. And the experience I had from last year to this year was that the plants seem to grow better, plus I've got a lot of moles and stuff like that are starting to come around, and they're eating a lot of the stuff from underneath. But if I do it in a raised bed, especially if I've got something underneath that blocks them from actually coming in, it will keep them from actually eating it. So I've got some beets here that are doing better here than they were in the raised beds. None of them come up, and if it did, it actually died off. I had to take the few that were growing in the garden, I had to take them and move them over here, and they're actually doing better. This is actually one of them, and it was really small, but now it's actually starting to really pop up. So then I got a couple sunflowers. First time I was able to get sunflowers to grow out here, and I think it's because I had them in a raised bed instead of just putting them in the ground. A couple figs over here on the sides, and then what I've been trying to do also is I'm trying to grow fruit trees, and of course I need to weed whack this area. But what I do is I'll actually, what I like to eat, I like to try to grow from seeds. So I think these are like maybe Fuji apples or Gala. No, I don't think they are. No, I think they're Fuji. So all these are apples. These are Asian pears. These 2 rows Asian pears, and then I've got different things in these 2 rows. Palm tree, which I was surprised I was able to grow, and I'll have to move that inside the greenhouse once I get it going. But I got avocados, I've got lemons, limes, Meyer lemons. I got quite a couple avocados growing, which I'm surprised. A few of them are dying off, but that's okay. I've got extras. I got papaya. I've got pomegranate. I'm just very excited about the variety of different things I've got going. And of course, like I said, I'll move those into the greenhouse once we get it built, or at least into the sunroom. The sunroom, then I'll have, at least I'll be able to keep them protected throughout the winter. Over here, I've got a couple pineapples, and again, I'll have to move those in once winter sets in. And I've got cabbage. Now, of course, I've got bugs that are eating the cabbage, but I'm actually eating the cabbage leaves that are growing. I'm not waiting for them to create the heads, because it seems like I guess because maybe I got them started late, they're instead of actually creating heads, they're bolting and becoming, going to seeds. I don't know if you can see that one that's actually growing up right there, but I'll take you closer to it in a minute. So first row is actually Napa cabbage, and all I do is I just go through and I just clip the leaves off, and it is awesome. It is very tasty, and it doesn't taste exactly like Napa cabbage for some reason. It actually has almost like a mustard green taste when you do it like this, and I don't know if it's because of how I'm growing it or what, but that seems like that's just how it's working out. And in the back, I've got a form of spinach in the back. I can't think of Marbella or something like that. I can't. In China, they call it palace greens, but I can't think of the proper name of it. But it is actually really crisp. Then when you cook it, it actually has a little sliminess, which is very interesting. But it actually is really, really tasty. And they've actually taken off, and they're growing. And what they'll do is they actually grow tall, and that's why I got these wires here, so it can actually help, grow them up. Then I've got okra in the middle. So what I try to do is I'll have something that grows towards the ground, then something that comes up, and then maybe I'll have something in the back, or maybe I'll have the higher one in the back or whatever. But if something grows through viney or whatever, I'll try to have it so I'm not having all lower, maybe not all talls or whatever, but try to do a little mix of each. And then, like I said, let me bring you over here, and I've got the butternut squash, and I think I've got acorn squash in here also. So you can see I've got quite a bit, and it's like the problem I was having, besides once this took over, I'm not having as much trouble with the weeds as I was when I first got this done. But man, the weeds were very bad, especially because I was having such trouble with the kidney stone that I couldn't come out and weed like I wanted to. So the weeds actually came and they took over, and then I tried to put wood chips, fabric and wood chips, and trying to block as much of the weeds as possible without having to come out here and bend over and try to weed. And I got to tell you, if you got something going on physically, it is hard to have a garden, and I'm still trying. I've got rid of the kidney stone about a month ago, so I've been trying to get back in here and trying to grow corn, but for some reason my corn seems like it's dying off, and I'm not sure what has happened with that. My wife seems to think that somehow it seems like it looks like it got sprayed by something, and I don't know. I mean, we're out here in the middle small town, Crossville, Tennessee, And I mean, we're right next to an airport, but I never see anybody spraying anything. But you know, I don't want to put anything past anything, you know. This was actually is a rose bush, but I think also some wild blackberries actually grow there. And it seems like it's just taken over, so I'm gonna have to cut it down, or at least cut some of it down. And over here, I've got loofah, and it's actually not doing too bad. It's just, but like I said, it's the 1st of August, and a lot of stuff is not really producing, except for the butternut squash. The corn did produce some little corn, you know, but it's like they're really no good. They're all shriveled up. So again, I'm not really sure what's going on. Strawberries, we're not doing too bad, but I'm still getting the Japanese beetles that are coming in and eating them up. And then asparagus, I'm on year 3, so I think I should have cut those down, but I'll get those next year. Start harvesting them. And somehow I got a squash started over here. It probably just a seed got blown over or something. I had potatoes here, but it seemed like the potatoes were getting destroyed, either, like I said, eaten from underneath, or the leaves were being destroyed by the bugs. So I dug up what I could as far as potatoes go. Had a pretty good, decent crop, and we're still eating them. So then I tried to put in some more peppers, like what I got here, but the peppers don't seem to be doing too well. I think pretty much they all died. You know, try to water them in the evenings when the sun goes down, but it doesn't seem, like I said, everything seems to do better in a raised bed. So I think what I'm going to be doing next year is once the season's done, once fall comes around, I'm going to tear it all up again, and I'm going to do raised beds, and I'm going to try to lay this out with with different raised beds, and then put a fence around everything, and then see how it is next year. You know, try it again. I'm gonna just keep going. You know, we've been here for 2 years already. You know, each year, like I said, it's an experiment to see what works best. So we'll keep going. Figs seem to be doing really good here. I cut this down here, you know, just right before winter, and it pops back up. And you know, they keep saying either you have one stalk growing tall to make it into a tree, or you know, you keep the whole thing going and it's kind of bushy. But it's like, man, it's like you have to stay on it if you want it to be a tree. Otherwise, I'm just like, you know, just grow, produce something for me. This is already the 2nd year, and I haven't seen any fruit yet, so I don't think I want to touch it anymore. I'm just going to leave it and just let it do its thing, you know. And over here, this is what they call a bitter melon, and of course, bitter melon is supposed to be good for you, as far as, you know, anything that's bitter or slimy or something like that is supposed to be good for you. And I can get the details later and put it underneath, but I'm still waiting. Like I said, it's flowering. I'm just waiting for it to start producing something. And I'm trying to think, was there something else? So again, along with the Japanese beetles, like I was saying, what I'll do is I'll take a little pot or bucket, a little bit of water, put a little bit of water in the bottom of it, just enough so that they're floating and they're not able to, you know, walk and fly away. And then what I'll do is I'll take them out. If you got chickens, that's good. You know, chickens will eat them up, but I don't have chickens yet. I've got a pond, and what I'll do is I'll take them out and I'll feed them to the fish, and they love them. So what I'll try to do is maybe I'll do a little video on that, showing you what I'm doing as far as collecting those bugs and feed them to the fish, and let you see them, how they're eating them like piranha. But I wanted to show you my barn cat has actually got a friend who showed up, and now is living next door with the large dog named Ringo, and of course they named her Star. And you know, I would wonder why they did, you know, Ringo Star. Just wonder, you know, maybe Beatles fans. But at any rate, they're pretty good friends, and I appreciate that, you know, because he's pretty much a loner. The cat He usually just hangs out with us. But trying to think, was there anything else that I've got growing here? I do have a few other things growing. Let me see if I can walk over here and show you. Here I got a mulberry, which is actually doing really good. This year it has really grown up. I had 2 of them for some reason. The other one didn't do too well, but I was able to do some cuttings, and I actually put it along the fence line. I've along the fence line. I'll show you here in a second. I've got goji, and I've got a mulberry that I dug up, but that I propagated from here. But what I want to show you real quick is this is a 2-year-old, because I put it in almost like, I think, first year we got here, and this is a Chinese chestnut, and it's doing really good. What I'll do is I keep trying to trim it down to keep it from getting too tall. Everything else was here already, so I'm trying to come through and try to trim down as much as I can each year. In the fall I try to trim everything down so that it's not too large. Oh yeah, look what we got here. I just noticed this. I didn't realize this was a type of pear tree also. So, and speaking of pear tree, that's what's happened here. I don't know if you remember in the last videos, you might be able to see it, but it was a tall pear tree, Bartlett pear or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And then I've got poke growing out here. Pokeberries are actually supposed to be good for you, but in limited amount. So what I was hearing was like 7 pokeberries if you eat a day is supposed to help the immune system, but I'll have to check on that again just to make sure, because I don't want to give you guys false information. So what was happening was the limbs were dying off inside and falling over, and basically they were falling over onto my fence. That's why I've got no fence here now. And then over here I had a wire fence, and it's gone now because this tree fell over. I think it was a hickory that fell over, and we had to, pretty much spend the last quite a few weeks trying to get it cut up, and I didn't have the equipment like I wanted, but it's gone now. And out here, what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to create a little orchard. Got a dwarf peach, got a couple plums. What I did was some of the plants that I grew, the seed apples and Asian pears, I've got them out here. Towards the front, I've actually got a pecan and a hazelnut. Yep. So try to keep the grass cut as much as possible out here, and try to make it to where what I do is I put these cages around them, and I put the soap hanging from it, and that detours the deer from coming over and eating the leaves off of it, because they don't like that smell. I mean, it's a strong soap smell too. So let's go back this way. And of course I try to keep as much, I know this is these are weedy, but this is the what you call the wild blackberry, and they are delicious when they do grow, and they're not eaten up by these bugs also. But here's the big pile of what's left over from the trees that fell over here and here. And then so I gotta come out and weed whack this a little bit more. But let's see, where is, oh yeah, right here. This is the mulberry that I planted, doing pretty good. And then these are the goji berries that I actually transplanted last year. I got them and they were in buckets, so they're not doing too bad. They could be better, but they're getting there. Still kind of probably in shock from me moving them, but it's got one berry, and this has got a couple berries on it on that side. But I was trying to get them to kind of grow up around the fence, so we'll see if that works. But at any rate, I wanted to give you guys a heads up and let you know, I haven't forgot about you, and I'm trying to keep going and trying to, do better with the gardens, and So what we'll try to do now is whatever we get, whatever we're able to get from the garden, we'll show you how we cook it. Hi there. Hey, there's your buddy. Especially the butternut squash. I want to show you guys how we prepare the butternut squash, and I'll give you guys the details on how the health benefits of the butternut squash. The cabbage, Napa cabbage, and the spinach have been doing really good. All I do is just go through and I just kind of cut leaves off as needed. Hopefully soon, like I said, the yard-long beans will start producing, and the bitter melon will start producing hopefully soon, and then we can do a video on those being prepared. So other than that, I think that's all I've got. I'll keep you guys posted. I'll try to do more videos to keep caught up. So alrighty, I'll talk to you later. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by.